Hey, what's up, everybody? Mogollon Monster here, and welcome to Why the Fascination, or WTF as I like to call it. This week I'm doing things a little bit differently. I just got to spend some time up on the Mogollon Rim, so I did a lot of filming on location, a lot of editing. But I'm learning, and I just threw some things together. Plus, I got an interview with Kevin Kehne on here from Arizona Squatch. Really great guy. I want to thank him for doing what he did. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it. If you do enjoy it, be sure to hit the subscribe, like, share buttons. Comment in the comments. I love to hear the comments. Um, and I try to reply as swiftly as possible. I don't know. There's just something I'd like to stay on top of that. You guys take a moment to thank me or leave a comment. I'll take the next moment to thank you. And I appreciate it, guys. But enough about that. You guys enjoy this, all right? It's kind of random, a little bit random, but it's kind of got a chronological order to it. But enjoy.
Hey, what's up, guys? We're here on, where the hell are we? Some lake, Arizona. um, yeah, we're slamming them. They stocked yesterday, and we're just using power bait off the bottom, and we're nailing them. I'll give you a little shot of what's going on here. Three I've kept so far. Again, so this is Knoll Lake. We're up on the Mogollon Rim. How appropriate. We're going to be heading over a little later. We're going to go meet up with Kevin from Arizona Squatch again and his buddy Chuck, who's a member of the BFRO. And he's actually an investigator for the BFRO. And get an interview, but in the meantime, we're going to enjoy the fishing. I'm trying to think if I can put this camera down somewhere and catch some of this action. Yeah, we'll be back. Hey, what's up, everybody? Mogollon Monster here. And I am supposed to be doing an interview today with Kevin from Arizona Squatch and Chuck Jacobs, who is with the BFRO. And I'm here at their site, but there doesn't seem to be anybody around, which kind of sucks because we just drove 15 miles from our campsite to here on some really crappy roads. I mean, there's vehicles here. I was here yesterday with these guys and it was too windy to do an interview. So, I don't know what we're going to do. I'm with my dad and he's probably not going to want to hang out too much longer, but that's cool. We'll probably meet up at another time. It kind of sucks, man. I'm here at, Hilltop 91. don't see anybody around, walking around or anything. Didn't want you to slam it. Well, anyway, yesterday I talked to those guys, Kevin and Chuck, and apparently they've had a lot of interesting sightings at this location. Right here, as a matter of fact, where I'm standing. They were telling me a story yesterday where, they were sitting around in a circle right here, a chair there, and picture more chairs around, and one night they had an experience with supposedly 8 creatures, or the people as they call themselves, but they weren't in a physical form. They were more sort of like dark shadows and sort of cloaked like, predator. I just wish they were here. We were going to do an interview, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. So, I'll leave them a note or something. Anyway, I will hopefully catch up with these guys and get something done. But in the meantime, you guys take care. Peace and God bless. Let's see if we can get a picture over here. Just go straight ahead. I don't want to know what that person's doing. So guys, we are up on the Mogollon Rim. Just out here checking things out. I think this is going to be a friggin' phenomenal view. Take some pictures. Holy crap. I did say we're on the Mogollon Rim, right? Yeah. This is Arizona, guys. You guys might not believe it. That's my dad over there taking pictures. So, getting an interview with Arizona Squatch was a bust. Showed up at his campsite. No one was there. I shouldn't have told him that they stocked the trout yesterday. He's probably at the lake fishing. But I can't blame him. Matter of fact, I left him a cooler with about a half a dozen trout in it at his campsite. Hopefully he'll enjoy it. It's a little windy. It's not as windy as it was yesterday. Yesterday was brutal out here. But considering where I'm standing, I mean, this is, the wind shooting right up that gorge or whatever you want to call it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Mogollon Monster here, and I'm up on the Mogollon Rim. How appropriate. Today I'm here with Kevin Kehne of Arizona Squatch, and he was gracious enough to stop by and give me a quick interview. And really, thank you for coming. Were you in the service?
Oh yeah, I did a little over 5 years in the Army.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your service.
Well, thank you.
Really. So, what got you involved in squatching?
Yeah, well, it really started for me when about 1982 time frame when I was in the Boy Scouts, and we were doing a backpack trip down at the bottom of the Mogollon Rim, and there was 5 of us scouts and 2 scout leaders, and the scout leaders, they racked out right away.
Sure.
And so, we're up sitting around the campfire, and just talking to crap that, teenage boys talk. And we heard the rock flying through the air. And I mean, this rock was about this big.
Wow.
And it hit kind of right behind me. I was leaning up against 2 pine trees that were kind of growing together, and then it dropped down into this drainage, and then it went up a higher hill. And it scared the shit out of all of us. And,
No doubt.
So we jump up and we're screaming at the scout leaders and threw all what wood we had on the fire to build the fire up. And scout leaders wake up and they don't hear anything. You guys are just hearing critters. Go back to bed. Like, no, man, you don't understand what's going on. And so they end up going back to sleep. And, we're sitting there scared shitless. Because growing up hearing the legends of the Mogollon Monster, never equated it with with the Sasquatch, and we thought we were going to get eaten, but the scout leaders had gone to sleep. Well, this hill that was behind us, we start hearing these heavy bipedal steps coming down the hill. So we start screaming at the scout leaders again. They wake up, they don't hear anything, so the same pattern keeps repeating, and this went on for several hours that night. And finally, whatever it was, it made it down to the bottom of this drainage, and we knew its next step was it was coming into the camp to eat us. And so we're screaming and we're screaming and we're screaming, and you hear thud 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 go back up the hill, and the scout leaders are getting frustrated with us, and they say, guys, just go to sleep, it's elk or something. And just then, a tree got snapped. And I'm not talking about a branch break. I'm talking, we found the tree the next morning, and the tree was about like 6-7 inches in diameter and about 10 feet up. It was literally snapped
off that high.
But we heard that branch break, and one of the scout leaders, he goes, "Oh shit!" and he pulls out a 44 and boom, fires a shot up in the air, and you hear this thing just taking off through the woods, and it probably got about 300-400 yards away and just let out this whoa. The scout leaders
pissed off.
Yeah, and the scout leaders are, don't ever talk about this again. I'm like, yeah, whatever. But it was a very terrifying moment, and the fact that it didn't scare me from being out in the wilderness, intrigued me. And so growing up, get married and kids, and I always talk about this one experience. And I said, I don't know what it was, but I know what it wasn't. It wasn't a bear, it wasn't a deer, it wasn't an elk,
Sure.
It wasn't a cow, it wasn't a horse, it wasn't a hippopotamus, wasn't a, I knew what it wasn't, but
Sure.
being that we didn't lay eyes on it, I couldn't say that that's what it was, that it was this. And then the Finding Bigfoot show came out, and I got real intrigued with that. And they did an episode, I think it was season 3, episode 2 or 6 or something like that. But they did it in here up on the Mogollon Rim, based out of. They did their town hall meeting in Payson, and that's when it finally clicked that was a Bigfoot, that we had our experience with. And so every time we go out camping, no idea what we were doing. We go out and knock on trees,
Sure.
And doing all that kind of stuff. Well, June of 2017, we're up here doing our family camp out, and my son and I, go out exploring, see if we can find footprints or hear anything,
Just for shits and giggles.
And found a game trail, and we're walking down the game trail, and I found a footprint. And I got all excited. And about 7 feet past that was the other footprint, so it was a left print and a right print. And so now we're real excited about it, and we go down this hill, and on the way down I heard a wood knock, and I'm looking at my son, and he's not showing any signs that he heard anything, so I was like, maybe I'm just hearing shit. And we get down to the bottom of this drainage, looking for more prints down there, and lo and behold, whack! Yeah, like, oh, you heard that. And so I found a stick, and I did a knock back, and I got a return. And my son's, I want to do it. So he does a knock. We get a double knock back. And so now, and it was right up on the game trail where we were at, but probably 40 yards farther down.
Wow.
And so I did a whistle. I'm just repeating things that I saw on the Finding Bigfoot show, because I have no idea what the hell I'm doing.
Sure.
So I do a whistle. Well, the opposite side of the drainage, get a whistle back, and it was a different tone, and it was long enough that there's no way it was an echo. And so we're like, oh, there's 2 of them, and so long story short, that's what really got me into doing what I was doing. I made a report with the BFRO, and the local field investigator got a hold of me and wanted me to come back, go back up on the site.
Was that Chuck at the time?
Yeah, that was Chuck. And so we met back up here, and we camped at that location for 3 nights, and that's when my world got changed. And it was just incredible. And anybody who goes onto my channel and we'll see videos from Squatch Camp, and that was this location. And I decided that I was going to do things a little differently than what most people do. And so because I was starting to do a lot of research, and I come across what's called the habituation method. And so that's what I started doing. And there was a guy in Arizona, Mitch Waite, and that's what he did, was habituate. And one of the things he always did was wore a red shirt. Park your vehicle in the same spot. Everything has got to be.
I remember you doing that at your camp.
Yeah, everything has to be set up exactly the same. And he always wore a red shirt, so I always wore a red shirt. And and now I realize it doesn't matter what color shirt you're wearing, but it made it comfortable that the forest people, okay, here's that guy, same truck, everything, so it started to make things more comfortable for them.
They got familiar with it.
And to come up here as a guest, not an intruder. And the interactions just constantly increased. We started exchanging gifts, and it just, my whole world changed. And since June of 2017, I'm well over 5,000 hours just in the field alone out here.
What time is it? I'll tell you how many hours I had.
It's about 2.5 hours away from Beer 30. So.
Yeah. No, I've taken some pictures around and some video, and people see it on the channel. Just how beautiful this is, and your research area is just intense.
Yeah.
And it's funny because right now we're in Coconino National Forest, but he's in Sitgraves, Apache Sitgraves National Forest, and everything changes. Like, you cross the cattle guard and the dirt changes on the road. The forest gets denser. There's more aspen. There's more. I mean, it was just incredible. You know, when we were driving in, you can look back and see aspen, but they're all like all over the place.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't get, and right across from where you guys are, you know, near your I guess it's your gifting area, just in that knoll or whatever you want to call it. Those aspens are everywhere, just stacked up. And
well, and that's one of the things that bummed me out about missing you yesterday, because I wanted to take you in there and show you some of the structures. You know, that there's some really awesome structures, and you know, when you're walking around and you look at it and it's like, yeah, it's just fallen trees.
no, it's not.
But once you get into it and you see the way that they're, you know, woven in together and placed, and
When you have 4 trees touching at the same spot,
yeah,
you know, like a teepee or stacked. I mean, it's not the
Yeah.
wind. The wind's not going to do that.
no,
It's pretty crazy. Everything's falling the same way. Yeah, they're all the same spot.
no, that's it goes against all the, you know, natural processes, you know, snow load and you know, windfall and things like that, you know, tree rot. You know, in nature, things have a natural way of, you know, of doing things.
Sure.
And when you start looking at it and you start realizing that this isn't a natural phenomenon, and you know, and so you take that little piece of the puzzle and you put it in, you know, with all the other different pieces, and you start developing a picture.
I'm just gonna hold a second here. I'm gonna mute this mic. Sorry guys, there was a Can-Am going by making a lot of noise. So
But anyway, as I was saying, you know, you start developing a picture of what's going on, and you know, and for anybody who's interested in this subject, you know, the biggest thing that I can recommend for you, it's a phrase that I've coined: do not let your paradigm dictate your experiences. Let your experience dictate your paradigm.
good advice.
You know, because if you go into this with you know, with a set paradigm that they have to be this, and they can only be capable of doing this, you're going to miss the boat.
And I'm guilty of that. You know, I wanted to believe they were more flesh and blood, and what you experience is way different.
Oh yeah. Oh, I fell flat off, you know, flat off the cliff with this, you know, because, you know, I never believed that they were, you know, an ape, you know, descended of Gigantopithecus blackie. When I was a kid, you know, seeing the Patterson-Gimlin film, I'm like, wow, yeah, that's real. And I always just thought that they were another type of people, and for the most part, that's what they are. But they're not bound to the laws of physics like we are. And you know, this has caused me to dive into quantum physics, quantum mechanics.
Sure.
And you know, a lot of it goes way above my pay scale. But you know, the things that I experience out here, you know, you can't unexperience something. You know, when you see orbs, you can't unsee them. You know, when you see shimmering images, you know, standing right next to you. For those that don't know, I hate the term cloaking, because it automatically makes you start thinking sci-fi and, oh, it's fake. And I just refer to it as a shimmering image. And, you know, I think, you know, it's my hypothesis, which is a very expensive word for a wild ass guess, that somehow they have the ability to slow down their vibrational frequencies. And so with doing that, light,
To come out of phase.
the way the rods and cones in our eyes work, and the way that we're actually able to see it, is because of light reflecting off of something because of its vibrational frequency. And so it's my thought that somehow they're either slowing down or speeding up their vibrational frequency so that they could, not be there, or they could partially be there, or they can, be there in full solid form.
Hang on, guys. That Can-Am's coming back, so sorry.
But,
all right.
But anyway, so they can, you can actually see them in their full solid form. And, it's just so hard to, wrap your head around, especially when, you're trained from childhood to think a certain way, that only certain things are possible. Anything outside of the typical scientific method, if it doesn't meet that, it doesn't happen. And, and that's just foolish thinking. So that's why, I have that, don't let your paradigm dictate what your experience is. Let your experiences dictate your paradigm.
That's tough to do.
It is hard, because I'm a very analytical guy, and very hands-on, touchy-feely, and over the last 2.5 years, I mean, good Lord.
No doubt. Yeah, I mean, I was out here last night. I was talking to him.
Yeah.
I was just putting it out there. I wasn't knowing what I know as far as what I've learned over the past 2 years. Or what I believe. Or I know. I'm not afraid of running into something. Here I am in the woods. It's not going to keep me out. Of course, having an experience may keep me out, but I'm not worried about it. I want to experience this.
And that's the key to it. You get that desire to learn more, and and that's what it's been with me. Is I'm not out to try and prove anything to anybody. I'm not out for notoriety. I'm in this because I want to know more about them. I want to know who they are. I want to know what they are. I mean, I have ideas of who and what they are. I can tell you they call themselves the people. But it's about developing a relationship with them. So I'm not setting trail cameras and out trying to get the money shot and become that guy. Because I could care less about that. This is turned into more of a spiritual journey than anything else.
Yeah, I could see that. Definitely, I could see that. Like I said, I'm not a researcher, but if I'm here, I might as well keep my eyes open, and look around. And I was a hunter for years, so I see through the forest.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the first things you have to be able to do, because I've always been an avid outdoorsman, long distance solo backpacker. When I was a teenager, it was nothing for me to load my backpack and disappear for 6 weeks. The parents like, oh yeah, he's off in the mountains again. I've been that way my whole life. And the funny part about it is since I've been doing what I'm doing, I've had so many aha moments on things that I've experienced, like when I was out backpacking and get that feeling that somebody's watching you. Well, it's because somebody's watching you.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't go into this area. Well, that's because they don't want you in that area. And so you'll learn to to trust your body on that. But more times than not, it's them telepathically letting you know that okay, it's all right to be here, or you need to turn around and leave, or they can put the fear of God in you, or they can, like last night, I got hit with this wave of euphoria that was was just incredible, and I love it when that happens.
Really. It's there is that factor that I don't want to call it the woo factor. Because woo is like a dirty word to Bigfooters, but in this sense, I mean, it's beyond your.
Well, you're diving into the quantum world.
Yeah.
And and yeah, I hate the term woo also, and and I know the guys that believe they're apes hate the term apers, and it's if the whole community could come together and everybody just sit down and listen to what everybody has to say, then maybe the clear picture will come out. But as long as people are, it has to be this, then you're no longer a researcher, because in order to do true science, true research, you have to keep the whole entire field open, and
Absolutely.
you have to take all the evidence in, whether it's physical evidence or spoken evidence, eyewitnesses. People can be put to death on the eyewitness testimony of 3 or more people.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's good enough for a court of law to end somebody's life, that should be good enough in the scientific community. And
you hear that argument a lot. Mm-hmm. That same exact. My dad's a retired cop. At one point, his word was good enough to put somebody in jail, but if he says he saw a UFO, people were like, "What?" Well, why isn't his word good then?
Exactly. And it's just the way that we've been trained since childhood, and the way our parents were trained, and their parents were trained. And it's hard to break out of that. There's been so many times I'm like, am I really experiencing this? And then I gotta go, yeah, I'm really experiencing this. With so much of it recorded on audio that I've got the physical evidence of it. I've got a couple photographs and just some amazing things.
So for the most part, you don't try to capture stuff on camera when you're at camp, camp, and you're walking around. I mean, I know you guys, you'll do interviews and you'll be like, you'll tell what's going on for the day or something. But I didn't think you guys did any filming.
No, I tried doing that at the very beginning. Like I'd walk around with my GoPro and I'd have my GoPro in my hand pointing behind me in case one stepped out, and and set up trail cameras, and trail cameras always malfunctioned. Never had a malfunction when I'm out hunting, but
sure.
when I'm out squatching, they malfunction, and that's why we call them squatch repellent. It's whether they can actually see the IR beam or they can hear the
Sure.
frequencies of it. We don't know. I tend to lean more towards that they see the IR beams and they're like, well, there's another one of those damn things. Stay away from it.
And they seem to know the boundary of when it's going to pick up, like how far they can go.
Mm-hmm. And every now and then, one messes up and gets caught, but it's not what I'm out to do. In 2.5 years, I've had 6 solid daytime sightings. One of them being pure white up here. You'd think, how can this thing hide up here? Yeah, the only thing, it was either a polar bear standing up, stepping behind a tree, or it was a white forest person. It's the only 2 options. And I'm telling you, at 7,000 feet in the center of Arizona, there's no polar bears here.
No. And that's another thing is if you've never been to Arizona, people have this misconception of it being desert, all desert. But Arizona is based on altitude, like all the different, we're at 7,300 feet.
In the largest ponderosa pine forest on the planet.
On the planet, yeah. Single stand of ponderosa pines. There's more mountain peaks in Arizona than there are in Switzerland.
Yep. Arizona holds the most mountain peaks in the entire United States.
Is it? It's like 164 or something like that. I know it's up there because somebody was bragging about Montana, and I'm like, oh yeah, we got more. But yeah, I mean, Phoenix is the Valley of the Sun. You can't have a valley without mountains. So same like I live in the Verde Valley. And we're surrounded by mountains. You got Red Rocks and Sedona on the east, northeast of us. and the Black Hills and the Bradshaws, and there's just tons of mountains here in Arizona, and we are in forests, and people don't realize that. You could take somebody from New Jersey, blindfold them, drop them off right here, and they would never know that they were in Arizona.
No, not
Just
at all.
that misconception of
Yep.
what Arizona is, and I love it here. I've been out here 10 years now. I'm from New Jersey, and just love it out here. I couldn't, I miss the ocean, but oh well.
Yeah.
you know, I don't miss the crowded, cities and
The
everything.
attitude.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, I want to thank you for this little interview.
Oh, absolutely. We'll do more.
Yeah, definitely, man. I just, I thought I was going to miss you, and I'm so thrilled that you guys stopped by.
Oh, well, I had to. You came up this far and came over to the camp and missed you yesterday. So, it just, it's about doing the right thing.
Yeah, we went fishing yesterday, so I brought him I don't know, 10 trout. I left the cooler there on the table with
Oh,
a
yeah.
note.
Trout for dinner tonight.
Right on. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Because we have some in the cooler, and we were just fishing, 20 minutes ago, and I was just nailing them left and right. It was awesome. I don't know if you brought your pole with you.
No, I didn't this trip because last time, not the last time before, I was camped about 100 yards right over there. And I think I had 2 bites the whole weekend.
Wow.
And it was just like, yeah, enough is enough.
Well, awesome, man. Yeah, we'll stay in touch, and once you get back to AJ, and that's Apache Junction.
Yep. Otherwise known as Malfunction Junction.
Superstition Mountains, for you guys, if you don't know where Apache Junction is, that's a whole nother issue.
Oh, I can go for hours on these mountains. I've spent a good part of my life backpacking them.
Yeah, so when you get back, I didn't mean to cut you off. When you get back, we'll hook up on the internet and talk some more. Thank you so much for stopping by. It was great to talk to you. Social distancing can kiss my ass.
Yep. Oh, don't even get me started.
But
I know more than I'm allowed to say.
yeah,
That's
I
all
hope you
can
guys
say.
enjoyed this, and there's more to come. I have a bunch of video that I'm going to edit in, and you guys can check it out. In the meantime, you guys take care, be safe, peace, and God bless.
Yeah, and you can find me at Arizona Squatch. Same shameless plug.
Oh, I'm sorry. I will link it in the video
All right.
and everything, but
Peace out.
Hey, so you guys still with me? Yeah, I have to thank Kevin Kehne from Arizona Squatch for that interview. That was really cool. I thought I was going to miss him, guys. I went to his camp the day before, the first day we got there, and then um, I told him I'd stop in, but we didn't set a time, so that's on me. I assumed, and yes, I know all about assuming. But it happens, and then he showed up at my camp as we were packing up to leave, and that was awesome of him. Thank you again, dude. You can check him out on Arizona Squatch on YouTube, and I'll post a link, in the information. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was something a little different. My first time being on location, and it was pretty cool. I mean, I only showed a little bit of the woods, and I didn't want to get carried away. But there's some beautiful landscape out there, and plenty of room for these creatures to hang out. But anyway, I'm gonna start babbling. Um, you guys enjoy, and hit that like, subscribe, and share button. That would be awesome. Helicopter's going over. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but on that note, thank you guys so much. Peace and God bless.